What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dragon Ball Version podcast. This is episode 16. We got your hosts, me, Gozen, from AnimeUproar, the YouTube and Twitch channel, and we got the myth, the man, the legend, Ray, the legendary anime version, the legendary Dragon Ball version. What up, Ray?
What up, everyone? Very excited to talk about Frieza today.
Yeah, this is some golden Dragon Ball Z right here. We got pretty much got to see Frieza break through like everybody, and then eventually fight Goku. The Goku fight's not done, but yeah, it's crazy. We got to see all of his different transformations, so I'm super excited to get into that. Just want to remind you guys that this week, like right now, we're covering episodes 75 to 89 of the anime, or chapters 97 to 117 of the manga. Next week, we're planning to have Animac on, so hopefully that goes according to plan, my brother. And then we're going to be discussing episodes 90 to 107, or chapters 118 to 135. And that will be the climax of the Frieza versus Goku fight, where a lot of you know what's coming up. Obviously, Ray doesn't, but a lot of you know like that epic moment that's coming up. So Animac wanted to be a part of that. And yeah, anything else, Ray? Initial thoughts about this beautiful arc?
I enjoyed it. There were some unexpected moments, especially when Piccolo comes. I did not see that coming within a particular arc, and him playing such at least a vital role, seemingly during that moment within the arc. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Frieza's potential when we get into it in the next arc. And yeah, we got Goku coming in finally. Only took like a number of episodes for him to
Oh
finally.
man,
Like how long were you just waiting there? Like, oh my god, just
that
hurry up here.
that to me right there is the epitome of the like Dragon Ball waiting meme, where
Yeah,
like Goku is in that like in that, what do we call it, a pod, a pod for healing, and he's in
yeah,
that water, and he's just like, I'm coming, guys, just a little more, just a little more. And you have like, dozens of episodes pass by as he's in there. And I mean, it's funny because in the manga, right when we started this section, when they were getting uniforms from Vegeta, um, they said that Goku should be healed in 40 to 50 minutes.
I
But
know.
but in the anime, it lasted like so long. It literally lasted like many hours for us.
It did. Yeah.
Oh man.
And he's sensing everything that's going on, like people getting severely hurt, and all
Yeah.
he's doing is, "Oh, hold on,
You
I'm
gotta
coming."
you gotta love his commentary. It's just like, oh my god, Gohan's in trouble. There's nothing I can do though, because I'm
Yeah,
healing.
hold on, son, I'm coming in the next 3 hours.
And to be fair, in the manga, it did make it more realistic, where he was like, that's it. Even if I can't get like completely healed, then I'm gonna go save Gohan, until Krillin interrupted Gohan getting beaten up with the Destructo disc, and Goku
Mhm.
sensed that, so he didn't like end his thing. But man, I was thinking this, and like this might be like something we see in Dragon Ball Z Abridged. And by the way, guys, we didn't do it this Monday because Ray had family stuff, but hopefully we'll be able to do it Monday coming up. We'll
Yeah,
definitely like
for sure.
eventually we're gonna watch them all, so don't worry if we miss a week here and there. But I don't
Gotta
know. I
watch
don't.
them all.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna cover this in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, but I feel like an obvious thing here would have been for Dende to just like go heal Goku. You know what I mean? so
Oh
he
my god,
so he
yeah.
doesn't have to heal so long in the pod. Cause at one point Krillin's like, "Oh, we didn't know Dende could heal because we would have had him heal Goku if we knew that." But he literally was just watching the fight. Like, he could have went to heal Goku, and if he wasn't there, then Frieza couldn't have killed him, right?
Mhm.
So that's another thing that stands out to me. And yeah, like, you gotta, Jaxie and Sam are pointing out like how Gohan, like poor Gohan, because he's like constantly getting beaten up. Like, it's crazy. Like, you have
Yeah,
I told you, like, Piccolo Nappa, Raccoon. Now Frieza had like time to beat him up. Like it's just not easy being a 5-year-old kid in Dragon Ball Z.
No, but how much of a badass was he compared to the beginning of Dragon Ball Z?
hmm
He has no fear now. He's willing to
Oh yeah, so
go to battle.
he's evolved so much, and you gotta respect that. Like one of the main things, the main turning points was obviously his Piccolo training, but that was outside of his control because Piccolo kind of just threw him into that. The real turning point for him was when he decided, you know what, I'm gonna go save Piccolo. I don't care what my mom says. I'm gonna be a man, even though he's 5 years old, and make my decisions for myself. So that was the turning point, and since then, yeah, like you can't say he's a crybaby. Like he's, if anything, takes more risks and is less afraid than Krillin.
Hmm.
Yeah. So a lot of
I
the
totally
times,
agree.
yeah, so yeah, no, I love Gohan, man. Keep in mind as we move forward with this, like Gohan, especially Teen Gohan, which you haven't seen yet, is like my favorite character, and he was always my favorite character growing up. So, like, yeah, I really like Gohan, but up till now, he's mostly like he's developed, but he's still not like um, it's still Goku's running the show.
Yeah.
Like everyone tries, everyone helps a bit, but it's Goku. You're like, bro, when he gets to the battle, it's all over.
Hmm.
And without him, people are pretty much just buying time.
Yeah. And the potential Gohan has because we saw Goku growing up in Dragon Ball, and we talked about at that stage he was anywhere from 12 to maybe 13 or so, and Gohan is 4 or 5 at this time, maybe 6, and he is way stronger than Goku was in Dragon
Oh
Ball.
my god, that's an understatement, bro. By the way, I am Tweak Sauce. Thank you for the resub. He says Team 10 is better than Team Gohan. Team 10, you know what that is?
Team 10?
Yeah.
No.
That's Jake Paul and like them. I think they have like a Team
Okay.
10 kind of thing. We actually did a parody. We might do your reaction of it, where we did It's Anime Bro instead of It's Everyday Bro, a song they did. We did an anime parody, so it might be fun to have you listen to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do it on the Dragon Ball Z abridged like things. But yeah, like Gohan's power difference, it's uncomparable, bro. Like he's growing at
Yeah.
such a fast rate. Vegeta's commenting on it. Frieza's commenting on it. Like if his rate were to continue, and I'm not gonna tell you yes or no, but if his rate were to continue, he would literally like by Goku's age, like just be shitting on everybody, bro.
Yeah.
Like his rate of growth is insane.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
by
I'm
the
excited to
way,
see his
yeah.
potential.
Yeah, by the way, anime dude, what up in the chat? Good to see you as always. Yeah, so that's kind of the situation we have going on. Gohan, this whole thing starts with, like I mentioned, Gohan and Krillin getting those Saiyan uniforms, which we saw. That's kind of
Hmm.
where we left off with, and then we get the Nail versus Frieza fight, where Frieza kind of shits on him, right? Frieza completely destroys him,
Yeah.
and Nail doesn't stand a chance. What did you think of Nail as the only warrior Namek?
What did I think of that? I mean, it was interesting. He was a lot like doesn't compare to the other Nameks that would go in and try to fight Frieza, even though Frieza was not putting up any effort at all. I think we mentioned in the last episode that he said he would only fight him with his left hand, I believe.
Yeah, like one hand. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not sure
one
which
hand.
one, but one hand. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, compared to the other Nameks, it was interesting that he had such a he was so different from them. Like he was a lot stronger than them. I do have one other thing when we get to it that I'm kind of curious about in terms of when Piccolo comes. I'll,
Okay.
I'll, I'll save that.
All right.
But
Say yeah.
yeah, no, I thought that was pretty cool. But obviously, the big thing at the beginning of this arc, you talked about how they got the Krillin, the Saiyan uniforms. We talked about how
And I did I
they
tell you that my favorite is Vegeta's out of style one?
yes, you mentioned
I
that.
fucking love that, man. That's my favorite uniform. Like
Yeah,
Teen Gohan in that uniform, Saiyan uniform, with that Vegeta's is wearing is
yeah. Hmm.
like the character I wanted to pick whenever I played the Dragon Ball Z fighting games.
Yeah. So there you go. A bit of a spoiler. Teen Gohan uses
And
the
it's funny because like people
and
keep talking about Jake Paul in the comments, and
yeah,
literally, you know what? Jake, don't look at it, Ray, because it's a spoiler. But
yeah,
Jake Paul's image is Gohan, for YouTube.
yeah.
Like
Actually, I saw that. I didn't know it was Gohan, but I noticed his image as a Dragon Ball Z fighter.
you shouldn't have like you shouldn't have seen that. But
No, like
whatever. Yeah,
the only reason I know that is because obviously he's been all over the news lately with challenging these people to fight, and so I just wanted to see what his channel was about,
that's
and
so funny.
I noticed I probably looked at it maybe 2 weeks ago. His icon was
This
a Z
this
fighter.
is how problematic it is for us to do a Dragon Ball version when like how this is how relevant Dragon Ball Z still is. Like
Hmm.
you have characters still being used um within. Okay, so Ray, I'm hearing some feedback on your end, but okay, it's good now.
Yeah.
They're still being used by famous people and still being like repped to the point where like Ray goes to see something about Jake Paul completely unrelated to Dragon Ball, and there's a
Hmm.
Dragon Ball Z spoiler in Jake Paul's like YouTube photo. Like it's crazy how like popular Dragon Ball Z is.
Yeah. When I did see it though, I didn't look further into it. I just thought, oh, we'll probably get to it eventually.
Yeah,
But I noticed it was a Z fighter, so
yeah,
yeah, pretty
yeah.
interesting.
No, okay, that's cool. I wish I didn't. I wish you didn't see that, or I wish I knew you didn't see that. But
Hmm.
okay, all right, good to know. I'm not gonna tell you what that is or anything, but we'll find out when we get to it.
Yeah.
The point is, I would like to see Jake Paul take on the martial arts fighter he's trying to take on. That would be interesting.
Now I think and then we'll go back on topic of Dragon Ball Z, but I'm pretty sure it's his brother. I think Jake Paul's brother, Logan Paul, is the guy who is challenging the retired boxer now. I think it's actually set in stone. Like the fight
Okay,
is actually
so he's
happening.
fighting a retired boxer, but Jake Paul is trying to fight that Irish guy. What's his name?
Oh, Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. In a boxing match. So,
yeah,
anyways, that kind of relates to Dragon Ball Z, but we'll
yeah.
be
There's
more on
fighting.
topic. We'll be more on topic moving forward here. Yeah. What another thing I noticed about Frieza is the fact that he has that thing that a lot of anime villains have, and you'll see that as you watch other anime, which is the fact that he views his opponents as like lesser life forms or like
Hmm.
lower life forms. Pretty much talks to them like they're insects.
Yeah.
And I think a good thing about that is once you have that dynamic set up, it's so much more satisfying when those guys get their like asses kicked. You know, those cocky guys.
Hmm.
Like I'm covering like another anime right now called Boruto, and it's the same thing that's happening here is happening there, where like a super powerful dude views himself as a superior life force is fighting against like gets beat by a quote unquote lesser life form. So people are still drawing on that kind of dynamic even now, like 30 years later.
Hmm. Yeah, because we haven't. I don't think we've had it to this extreme yet in both Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, because obviously Dragon Ball Z, the main opponents have been Saiyans, and we've had Goku fighting them, so he doesn't think of them as lesser. I'm not sure if it really happened in Dragon Ball.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think so.
Goku. Yeah, I don't think Goku ever thought of anyone as like Vegeta thought of Goku as lesser, but I don't think Goku ever thought of anyone as lesser.
Yeah,
Vegeta
I mean,
obviously views him as a lower tier Saiyan, right?
yeah,
As a low class Saiyan.
yeah,
It's so funny, and oh my god, bro, we're gonna get to it, but like the Vegeta characterization in this arc was insane, bro. I got in the thumbnail. I don't know if you saw, like in the Twitch thing. There's literally like a picture of Vegeta crying, and bro, like that
hmm,
was moving as fuck. Like
yeah,
his whole journey in this arc was so good, man. Like
hmm,
you forget because like I'm so used to Vegeta later on, but you forget how like emotional he was in this arc. Like
Hmm.
it's really
Yeah,
really
and
good.
that's what was useful as well. I don't think it was the last episode, the one before, when we watched a couple of those movies and we saw Vegeta as a kid and we learned about Frieza's relationship to the planet Vegeta. That helped. But yeah, this arc told a
Oh
lot
my
about his
god.
father,
Yeah,
about
cuz that was just setting him up again as like this guy who's like prideful, like he was told his dad was died in the movie, right? And he like didn't bat an eye, all
yeah,
right? Like he didn't give that emotional response, and here we just have the floodgates opening when
yeah,
he realizes that he's powerless against Frieza. And like, oh my god, considering he's so prideful and like all of that, to see him shed tears, oh my god, man, it's so powerful.
yeah.
So
Because
good.
there's a moment before where this is before Goku gets there, I think, where Frieza tells Vegeta the story about his father, and Vegeta's not even phased. He's like, all right, so let's just start fighting. He's not showing the emotion, but yeah, at that moment, you could tell that he's like kept it inside. Like, I'm sure when he looks at Vegeta, he thinks of his father and like just how
Exactly. Like
Frieza destroyed the whole planet,
who
and he has
yeah,
to face that, and he finally just he can't control it anymore when
yes.
he's on his deathbed.
Yeah, and who would expect some like an anime like Dragon Ball, which is not usually associated with like this kind of stuff, it's associated with fighting. Who would like expect it to deal with like, men like just penting up feelings and like getting emotional, like, a psychological breakdown. Like there are very very um deep stuff. There's a lot of deep stuff going on in Vegeta's character right here, and I think that people don't give Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z enough credit for like some of the issues they deal with. Cause man, like as a dude, I could relate to Vegeta, bro.
And I know we're jumping ahead a bit, but the interesting thing about that when he starts crying is that him crying is wasting his energy. So that like cathartic moment he has where he's like talking about his past and he's breaking down, that actually drives him to die sooner.
Yeah,
So by him just telling Goku that, it's actually killing him. So
and it
he's willing
was
to do that.
yeah, and it was great like the that he did that because it was so much more powerful. And Sam, thank you for the donation. Sam says Vegeta begging Goku to avenge them as a race got to me. Me too.
Mm,
Me too. That
yeah.
was so powerful. And I love how not only like Goku impacted Vegeta, which he obviously did. Um Goku said like he'd like to borrow some of Vegeta's pride as a Saiyan, and like it changes him too because he viewed himself as like this Earthling, right? And he viewed Saiyans as bad, and then all of a sudden here we have him actually fighting for the Saiyans who died, fighting for his race, as well as for the Namekians against Frieza, who is worse than any Saiyan he's actually met. So just even Goku's like path to finding himself and accepting himself as a Saiyan
Hmm.
is very powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
I
Yeah.
love that. But yeah, so what did you think about the Parunga, which was pretty much the Namekian dragon that they summoned after Vegeta fell asleep, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
Frieza, Nail was kind of stupid here. Nail let Frieza know that Dende was going to those guys,
I know.
and he made him like leave earlier because Dende wasn't even there yet. But anyways, in the end of the day, they couldn't make all three wishes. But yeah, what
Hmm.
did you think about the dragon? Because it's different from the Earth's dragon.
Yeah, he looked a lot more like badass compared to the other one. He looked like almost like Jack, like he had a huge upper body. Um, didn't he have something kind of around his lower body as well?
Yeah, well, I think he had a tail, and thank you, I am Tweak Sauce, for the donation. I appreciate it. I think it was more so like similar in the bottom, but he had a
Yeah,
very genie, like from
yeah,
Aladdin. He had a very genie build, which makes sense because he gives three wishes, right?
yeah.
So he had that rather than that kind of Eastern dragon, which is like
Hmm.
long and like a snake kind of thing. He had more of that genie build, and I think as we saw, Toriyama is inspired by a lot of movies and a lot of different mediums. So I think that there was definitely some genie inspiration for Purunga, which is the Shenron of Namek.
Yeah. And the appearance was different. Obviously, we learned the way the dragon grants wishes are very different. So obviously, there's three instead of one, like on Earth. But the first wish they ask is everyone who's been killed by Vegeta, they want them to wish them back, and he can't do that. That's not in his
Yeah, that was
actual
interesting, eh?
capacity.
Yeah, that was interesting. So like they have three wishes, but they're more limited seemingly,
Yeah,
which is interesting because so obviously if you wish for more wishes, that wouldn't work with him.
yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting thing that I remember from before, and I always thought was a unique twist because then we have Piccolo being the smart guy here and actually realizing, hey, if you wish me back, Kami comes back,
Hmm.
then we can wish everyone back.
T-Mobile has been building America's largest 5G network for this epic 5G moment. Introducing the new iPhone 12 Pro, now at T-Mobile, the leader in 5G coverage. Download, upload, and game at 5G speed in more places. Unleash the power of iPhone 12 Pro with T-Mobile.
Capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or features. See T-Mobile.com.
We wish you a smoke-free Christmas. We wish you a smoke-free Christmas. We wish you a smoke-free Christmas and a happy new year.
Don't let smoking stop you from achieving your New Year's goals. Use Nicoderm and Nicorette combination therapy to help you conquer your cravings. Nicoderm provides 24-hour withdrawal support, while Nicorette provides fast relief of nicotine cravings.
So now there's another reason to celebrate the season. Available at Shoppers Drug Mart. To be sure these products are right for you, always read and follow the label.
So that was pretty much a chance for Piccolo to shine. But they fucked up because instead of wishing him specifically to where they are, they just wished him to Namek. And at this point, like, it takes a while for people to fly from completely different parts of the planet.
Yeah.
And I remember in the video games, like, which obviously is not realistic, but it takes you like so much less time to fly around the planet. But I guess Namek is big enough so that Piccolo has to like actually take a while. And he also stops in the meantime to see Nail because Nail is dying, but he recognizes him as a fellow Namekian.
Yeah. So yeah, that I guess that was the benefit in the sense of because
Oh
they just
yeah,
wished him
yeah,
to Namek,
you're
he
right.
ran into Nail.
You're right. You're completely right. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, because they didn't wish him right there, Piccolo got immensely stronger than he would have gotten otherwise.
And this is what I wanted to say in terms of with Nail. It kind of we talked about before moments of things being unrealistic with certain power levels, and so he goes to Nail. At that point, Nail is really injured. He can't even stand up.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is they talk about how I think, suggests that maybe if you absorb me, like we could be almost like they're in the same body, and then he gets Nail's energy as well. So Piccolo becomes stronger than what he was before. So, a couple questions I had. When he absorbs Nail, is that Nail at that particular state when he's injured? Because if it was, it seems like that wouldn't have
No,
powered
I
him
don't.
up that
I don't
much.
think that's how it. And again, like you can't take this too seriously because you're completely right when you say like the guys go for training that's like equal to Goku's training that he
Yeah,
goes to before them, but then they come out way stronger than he did when
yeah,
he went through that training. So Piccolo, even though he went to train with King Kai, is stronger than Goku when he finished with King Kai.
yeah,
So clearly he is. But then you have him fusing with Nail or syncing with Nail as the video games called it. And in that situation, no, I think he just captures Nail's full potential. He becomes one with Nail. So it doesn't matter that Nail's injured there.
yeah,
That's not like an issue. And they kind of say it's a big deal because Piccolo is like this kind of half Namekian warrior kind of thing. So he's gotten very strong himself, but he's split off from Kami. So they keep talking about how he'd be way stronger and could even like potentially beat Frieza if he was one with Kami. So I think this fusion with Nail almost like serves as that kind of extra half he's missing, if not more. And then he becomes significantly stronger to the point where Piccolo, who isn't usually cocky, gets super cocky. He's like, yes, 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 I can do it, I can do it, I can beat anyone. So that was fucking hilarious. I love the way he went like crazy in that situation.
Yeah.
No, that was so funny. He sounded like someone like really enjoying lifting weights, like pumping themselves up. It was hilarious. And yeah, I think that's what it's coming across. And it's good that he ran into Nail, because if he just underwent Goku's training with King Kai and then came to Namek and he was stronger than Goku after he did the 100 times gravity training, that would be ridiculous, right? So you have the Nail fusion combined so that he can actually put up a fight against Frieza second form, which we didn't even get to his second form yet, but he does well against that. And Goku, keep in mind, is going to get stronger because of the Zenkai boost, I believe is what it's called, where Saiyans get stronger when they revive from the brink of death. So Goku is even going to be significantly stronger when he recovers than when he got beaten up.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it was just, and I know I shouldn't be taking it so literally, but I had a hard time kind of accepting that because he was able to absorb Nail, that he was able to, like, that was the thing that could put him over the top. I just found that hard because, like, he was super resilient when it came to fighting Frieza. He wasn't necessarily doing much damage upon him, but there were so many times where even Frieza was surprised that Piccolo survived a particular attack, like the one time when he pushes him up against that mountain and just shoots a bunch of energy waves at him, and he comes out unscathed.
And you got to keep in mind, that's just how Dragon Ball Z and fighting anime are. A lot of that stuff isn't even in the manga because like they prolong it. So you'll have like them fighting and like kind of being equal, but going through all of these like buildings and like all of these mountains, and like, you can't take that too seriously because like anybody can survive like crashing through a mountain in this series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Krillin could probably survive crashing through a mountain. So yeah, you definitely can't take that too seriously. But what I think they did well is they gave Frieza these transformations, and by doing that, they could let like Piccolo shine a bit. They could let Gohan shine a bit, without like Goku just coming in and like being the only effective one. Because if it wasn't for his different forms, you're right. Piccolo would have gotten his ass kicked, Nail or not. But that's why it's interesting to me because, yeah, they didn't make Piccolo just automatically the strongest. They just made him good enough to beat level 2 Frieza, but not third form or final form. So, yeah, I get what you're saying, but keep in mind that they just wanted to make him look good for a bit without actually giving him the W.
Yeah, which I was impressed. And yeah, I do like, this is an interesting approach to that, because before we talked about how certain enemies, they'll hold back and they'll fight at the level of, say Krillin or someone who's a bit weaker to make them gain confidence and then eventually come in, just like the Ginyu Force, eventually come in and defeat them.
Exactly.
But having the transformations was an interesting idea because, yeah, I don't know if we potentially got the full potential of each of the transformations, but it was good because when a particular enemy, posed a certain threat to that particular transformation, then he's like, oh yeah, well, I have a step ahead, and he was able to do that, which it was an interesting take compared to the other enemies we've seen so far.
No, and I enjoyed it, and that's, again, you told me to mention like stuff that pops up in other anime and stuff like that. Like transformations are definitely hype. And you definitely they build hype in like every series. Like I can't think of one shonen series off the top of my head where there isn't some kind of transformation. There probably are, but a lot of people have like the main character transform in some way or something like that, And that's where you get the meme, this isn't even my final form, which you'll see sometimes sometimes like used in hilarious ways on the internet. But yeah, so that comes from this idea of people like just when you think like you're doing well, you emotionally, psychologically traumatize the person by being like, bro, this is 2 out of 8 forms, bro. I'm barely getting started here.
Yeah.
And yeah, Frieza takes that to an extreme because of how many transformations he has. Because Zarbon had one, right? But then Frieza keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And the first, maybe we could tackle the different transformations, but
Yeah, I want to
the
hear what you
first
thought
time,
of each one as
yeah.
well.
So I'm pretty sure what happens is Vegeta kind of eggs him on because we get cocky Piccolo at one point. We also get cocky Vegeta. So he's egging Frieza on, saying, "Yeah, this form that you have right now, we know it's not even like your true potential. So transform." So the first time he transformed, he became this huge, kind of devilish figure. Like he had the
Yeah,
horns
he had the
facing up,
horns, yeah, for
the
sure.
tail.
And he's
Uh,
buff, right? Like he has
oh,
that
yeah,
like buff, huge raccoon-like muscular structure.
yeah. So that one I found was like the most intimidating out of them all, and I'm surprised they didn't make that the final form. And even when he transforms into the final form, Krillin, because interestingly, one episode I did watch the sub. It was because I didn't have sound; my sound wasn't working, so I turned on the
Interesting.
sub. So I turned on the sub, and Krillin even says, I don't know if this happens in the dub, but Krillin says that, wow, like this is kind of underwhelming. Like I thought like he would transform into something a lot more intimidating when it comes to the last transformation.
Oh, the
And the first
last one, yeah, for sure.
last one, yeah. And the first one, yeah, he's super intimidating. And we see like the first thing he does is goes right to Krillin and impales him with one of his horns.
Oh my god, bro. That was probably the most traumatizing scene of the whole arc.
Yeah. Like he does so, and then he continually kind of just like puts the horn, like moves it around just to make it more painful. And when the blood is spewing out, he's like licking the blood, and we see
Oh
that a
my
couple times
god.
as well.
Yeah, and
Just an
so
absolute savage.
yeah, so I read the manga, and in the manga, like he penetrates him with his horn, and then he throws him to the ground.
Yeah,
But in the anime, like he really like gives him a ride with that horn, bro. Like did you
yeah,
like he just shakes him and like oh my god, it's so much more brutal in the anime. Like it's
yeah,
crazy cuz like yeah, in the manga it's like horn in him, throws him aside, he comes back healed. While in here like they do a good minute of just like shaking Krillin's wound. It's grotesque like and in a good way because like Dragon Ball Z raises the stakes with like that emotional physical damage.
hmm,
So I think it's a good thing about the show. But yeah, man, that shit gets to you. And yeah, I think he's more like a boogeyman in these earlier forms, like the second and third. And then Krillin thinks he's just gonna get worse and worse,
hmm,
but then he becomes like this very humanoid, human-like creature that's like
yeah,
smaller than Goku. And so that's like something that you don't expect, but yet I like how it's even stronger. You know, it's like all
yeah,
those times Goku as a kid beat like incredibly buff opponents.
yeah. I also wrote down here, which was kind of funny, when this was taking place, when he was impaling Krillin there. It's funny how because obviously this arc, most of the plot is focused on the Frieza fight. Like there's, compared to the other arcs, I found there was very little shifting towards other sub stories. And like there's this moment where this is when he's just toying with Krillin when he has the horn through him, and then it shifts to Bulma talking about how, oh, like I hope we could bring like or wish Yamcha back because I don't want to just go around in life without like a boyfriend. She's concerned with that, and then it zooms back to Krillin just getting absolutely impaled, and like it's hilarious. The contrast and
Oh
problems
my
are
god, yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, like very real world. Uh, she's living. Yeah, Bulma has that spoiled thing, and that was even funny in Dragon Ball. But yeah, it's so funny. It's like, oh no, I need a boyfriend, and then Krill is just getting like brutally like murdered.
By this devil, I know.
But to be fair, in Bulma's defense, almost every time Krillin is in like a deadly situation, he's like, "Oh man, and I didn't even get a girlfriend, bro. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
even have a chance to get a girlfriend. Like, my life sucks." So like Krillin's always thinking about that too. So I find that comedic relief like fun, but yeah, it was weird in that situation you brought up because like,
Yeah.
yeah, for
It
sure.
reminded me before in the Vegeta saga when we had I think like Gohan brutally getting beaten up by um I'm trying to think who is Vegeta's henchman there. What's his name
Nappa,
again?
bro. Nappa.
Nappa. Yeah,
Never
I don't know why.
forget
I
Nappa.
know. I
Ghost
should, but
Nappa.
I know exactly
Who
what
you
he is
gonna
very I
call?
forgot it.
Ghost Nappa. All
So
right.
it reminded me there when he was brutally beating up Gohan, and then we shift to like Goku on Snake Way, and it's like da 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 da. It's like that optimistic humor. It's
Yeah.
just funny contrast so far in Dragon Ball Z because we've noticed, yeah, there's some super dark moments within Dragon Ball Z compared to Dragon Ball, but then they have those, I don't want to say lighthearted moments, but like moments that are a lot less pressured and they just seamlessly go back and
Yeah.
forth, and it's hilarious when that happens.
Yeah, and I like that, and I think you'll see that in like other series as well. And you had that in the manga too, where like they're like Gohan's like on Namek, they're all fighting for their life against Frieza, and it jumps to like Chi Chi for a panel, and she's like to her dad, "I hope Gohan's doing his homework." And it's like, bro,
He's
like
not doing
that's
his homework.
that's the least of your problems right now, bro. No, I like that. And I think like, you always hear about like strict parents and like you gotta do your homework, you gotta get A's in school. And like Dragon Ball Cap with Chi-Chi captures that beautifully, right?
Hmm.
Like an irrational focus on like grades to the detriment of everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I do think like a lot of people can relate to that. Um, we talked about the second transformation, which was unique in that it was buff. He had the horns. He took Krillin for a ride, and he also like it's interesting like the words Frieza uses. I told you that before he viewed them as insects, and at one point he compares them in the manga to three ants trying to beat a dinosaur. Again, like another way he views himself in contrast to like the people he's fighting.
Yeah.
So again, that's something I enjoy, his cockiness and how eventually, like they put up a better fight than he expected.
Hmm.
Another thing that was very interesting to me is when we see that second form, Frieza says, if anything could measure my power right now, it would be over 1 million. So
Yeah.
think about how fast for us who've been like going through arcs pretty quickly, um how fast like we went from a power level of like 300 being good to like over 1 million, bro.
I know, yeah. Because we got at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z like 20, or was it 20,000? Like that was something really impressive. And yeah, we're getting to the point where that like a million is like not even the final transformation either,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Because it's
over a
like,
million, and like Piccolo was doing pretty well against it. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
So that's like Piccolo was like, yeah, like 300 something, 400 it only like a few arcs ago, and now he's like over 1 million. Like, oh my god, it's crazy. Like, that's the exponential growth that's coming in there, because I think it's a good message where it's like, if you focus on something like specific, you could, at first, you might be getting like a little better, but then like after a certain point, you're just like killing it, getting way better, getting way better. And I think that happens with any art, any path to mastery. And with Dragon Ball Z, it's obviously martial arts. So it's interesting to see. I think that is a principle you'll see in life, how people just exponentially improve the more they like continue to master something and focus on it.
yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's interesting. I never really thought of Piccolo being on par with Frieza when he's at like that 1 million power level. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since all Piccolo did was like train with King Kai without the nail thing. You know what I mean?
And when he was there, he wasn't even training that much. Like he seemed a lot very apathetic when he was on the planet and letting them train. Like, did we see much of Piccolo training?
So yeah, it didn't emphasize it, but he did. He definitely
Yeah,
did, and he
he
had to
definitely
get
did.
used
Yeah,
to the gravity and stuff like that. He did breeze through their training because he was ahead of them, kind of thing.
yeah,
And then he trained more. It's just a lot of it is off screen, and the
yeah.
stuff we see in the anime is mostly like fun stuff that's not super relevant because in the manga most of the training happens off screen.
Hmm.
So yeah, so sometimes in the anime we just see some like funny moments that aren't necessarily him training, but we're definitely supposed to assume that he trained a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And he did improve 100%. But he needed that combination with Nail, or else it would have had no sense him like defeating an over 1 million power level Frieza.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, then there's also like when he goes to the third form, which I think is a reference to Alien. I don't know when they came out and stuff, but like it has to be. Like that head design and everything. Do you know
The,
what I'm
yeah, the,
talking about? The
the
movie
like,
Alien?
yeah, the long head going
Yeah,
backwards.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that seems like too good of a comparison, a reference for it to be accidental. Like he is an alien for us. That's a very scary form. Um, that was surprisingly faster than Piccolo without his weights, and in that form, like he was doing well. Again, Gohan with these short bursts somehow manages to actually push him, like not overpower him, but he throws like an extremely powerful energy blast at him, and the dude actually struggles with it and then throwing
yeah,
it back,
yeah,
and he decides to switch to his final form pretty quickly. So I think, yeah, Gohan gave him a run for his money at his when Gohan was at his strongest, which again, Gohan recovered by Dende, so he got another power boost before that happened, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah,
yeah, like Gohan is getting that Saiyan boost. Gohan is kicking ass, and he's the one I think more than anyone else who forced Frieza to go to that final form.
yeah. And even there are other moments, like we talked about, Piccolo impresses us in terms of, for me, it was more or less his resiliency, just being able to withstand multiple energy waves and attacks by Frieza. And sometimes it didn't even leave a mark. But even Krillin, when he gets recovered, that one moment he uses the Destructo Disc, it actually slices Frieza's tail off, and he actually has to
Yes.
dodge, and it slices a bunch of similar to the
That
Nappa
was
situation.
epic. Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like Krillin is like the MVP because of like the difference between his strength and how much he's useful. Like, yeah, that was cool, man, when he like actually cuz Gohan, yeah, so Frieza was beating up Gohan, right? And Goku was like, "Yo, like I might have to like get out of here before I'm healed." And then Krillin like uses the Destructo Disc and like cuts off his tail, an earlier version of Frieza, and then like distracts him, uses solar
yeah,
flare, right?
yeah.
Like the dude's fucking useful, man. Like he's a human
No, yeah,
being. He's like an earthling. He's like supposed to be like you and me. And like he's gotten really far and been really useful despite the fact that he's not a Saiyan.
he is. Remember when so yeah, he distracts him by flying, and then Frieza flies behind him, and he's within that kind of mountain or that cave, and he keeps going back and forth to keep wasting time and trying to get out of the cave, and Frieza keeps appearing on either side. It freaks him out. Like, even though, yeah, is he really doing anything to Frieza? No, but he's distracting things so then Goku could come in at the right time. Like, he
Yeah,
gives him that time,
because
which is, yeah,
at
super
this
useful.
point, again, because they didn't send Dende to heal Goku, which would have been the smart thing to do in my opinion. But in this situation, their main goal is to just buy time. So
Yeah,
Krillin did a great job with that. And that's I mean, Dragon Ball Z up to this point has been people buying time for Goku. After the Raditz thing, like that's pretty much what it's been.
yeah,
So we'll see if that changes. Let's pay attention to that. But yeah, it's fun though. Like you can have fights that are interesting without them being like with Goku, right?
hmm,
And I think Naruto does that really well, which is a different anime where like even if a character is not the strongest, they can make good individual battles between them. But Frieza, the only thing with Frieza here is he's like he could destroy the planet whenever he wanted to.
Yeah.
So like even everyone knows like he could like kill them if he wanted to, you know. So yeah, they have to just hope, like with Nappa and Frieza when they were buying time, that he won't decide to kill them right away.
Yeah. And yeah, we see, I mean, speaking of destroying the planet, we've seen it, especially when Frieza makes his last transformation. Like the planet is super unstable. There's like lava, even though it's caused by Frieza, but there's lava like oozing out. Obviously, there's been tons of destruction in terms of with the Frieza fight, but even before the Frieza fight. So I'm thinking like something to keep in mind. I'm wondering about even the state of Namek going forward, whether there'll be something
Interesting. You should think about that.
that
Interesting.
will be, because I'm just looking at it. I've never seen that in anything so far where we've seen like an unstable planet, and even Goku mentions that like this planet looks really unstable the way
Yeah.
it's put together, and I'm wondering if that's going to be a thing because obviously Frieza destroys planet Vegeta pretty easily.
Oh
Will
yeah.
that be something he resorts to? Just what? I'll flat out destroy this planet.
Interesting hypothesis. We shall see if that happens. But in the meantime, it's interesting to see how Vegeta's approach is because like almost everyone has a chance to shine here, right?
Yeah.
Like we got Piccolo, we got Krillin doing his little bit, we got Gohan against the third form of Frieza, then we got Vegeta. This was hilarious.
This holiday at T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are, it's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
Cool. So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right, the iPhone 12 on us on every plan on America's largest 5G network. It's time to holiday on with T-Mobile.
With 30 monthly bill credits plus tax. If you cancel credit, stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.
We wish you a smoke-free Christmas. We wish you a smoke-free Christmas. We wish you a smoke-free Christmas and a happy new year.
Don't let smoking stop you from achieving your New Year's goals. Use Nicoderm and Nicorette combination therapy to help you conquer your cravings. Nicoderm provides 24-hour withdrawal support, while Nicorette provides fast relief of nicotine cravings.
So now there's another reason to celebrate the season. Available at Shoppers Drug Mart. To be sure these products are right for you, always read and follow the label.
So Vegeta says like Krillin should attack him. And there's an interesting moment here when he's like it can't be me in the manga. He says he can't hurt himself. It has to be Krillin so that he could get that power boost by getting healed by Dende.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to me because Goku, when he was coming here, seemed to actually defeat him, like seemed to hurt himself and then get that power boost. But maybe it's because the 100 times gravity was like outside of his control kind of thing.
Yeah.
That it counted as like someone else hurting him. But that was like a strange little rule that I read in the manga that I didn't think about before. So
I think,
yeah.
I was gonna say, I think it's mentioned as well in the anime that he can't be the one who hurts himself because then they could just be like masochists and just keep hurting themselves, and then they'll be like, yeah, now I'm stronger when they recover.
Yeah, no, exactly. And literally that's good that I don't know why it works like that, but it's good that it does because yeah, you just have Vegeta constantly like fucking killing himself, then they revive me, killing himself, then they revive me. And the way they do it is Krillin doesn't want to, and then Vegeta's like, come on, we're gonna die, because for some reason Frieza's final transformation takes like a bunch of time. And during that transformation, they have ample amounts of time. So Krillin finally destroys him. And it's so funny when he's like, hey kid, heal me. I'll save us all. And Dende's like, nah, you killed like my friends. Like, I'm not gonna heal you, bro.
Yeah, he says like I can't heal someone with a bad heart or
Yeah,
something.
because he killed a lot of Namekians, right? Like he made them suffer and shit like that. So I thought that was so unintentionally hilarious. Where like he goes through all that, he's like, "Come on, kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me, hurt me, hurt me, hurt me." Finally, Krillin does, and then Dende is like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna heal you. I'm gonna go see what Piccolo is doing. I'm gonna heal Piccolo." Like that to me was unintentionally hilarious. And another thing that was hilarious is when even Piccolo and Nail are like, bro, you gotta heal Vegeta. He's our only chance. He agrees. He heals him. And then Vegeta, as a thank you, like kicks him to the ground.
Yeah.
And you're lucky I don't kill you, man, after he just healed him. Like, if that isn't classic Vegeta behavior, I don't know what is. Another classic moment is after he's healed, he's portrayed as the strongest because he can keep up with Frieza's attacks in the beginning. And he saves Gohan. And in that situation, he's like, hey, Gohan, don't think like I saved you, on purpose or anything. I just wanted to show off my power. But like I love how he like even when he does good things, he can't take credit for doing good things.
Yeah.
He has to be like, bro, it's not about you, it's about me, okay?
Exactly. I feel like some of these moments will be coming up in the abridged.
No, oh god, yeah.
Especially when he goes like, "Oh, heal me." No, I can't. You don't have a good heart.
No, I can already picture them having fun with that. Like, cause it's like, yeah, Frieza doesn't. They need to beat Frieza, right? So that's like the main issue. But I get Dende, man. Like, imagine somebody killed your friends, and like people you knew, you respected, and then they're like, heal me. Like, it's not something you want to do. I totally get where Dende is coming from.
Yeah.
Because it feels like you're betraying, like, your friends, you're betraying your people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Something I did want to mention as well, I gained a bit of clarity on that topic within this arc is that, so yeah, we learned, I think, last week or the week before that when Saiyans get injured or brought to the brink of death, once they recover, they grow stronger.
Yeah, exponentially stronger, yeah.
Yeah, my interpretation before, and it obviously changed now, was that the opponent that does that has to be stronger than you in some way. Even Goku, like, at the 100 times gravity, like, the force that he was dealing with, it wasn't a person or another entity, it was just the force, was, like, it did something, like, it did a number on his body. It was out of his range. He had to be able to work up there. But Vegeta turning to Krillin and saying, yeah, you like hurt me and I'll just kind of stand here and be defenseless. Like, I'm thinking in terms of if that's a thing where it doesn't matter how powerful the other person is, as long as it's someone who could inflict damage and you just willingly taking it, like, could that just be an easy way to get strong? So like, could someone just easily go to someone like Roshi or Yamcha and be like, yeah, just keep beating me up and I'll take you.
In theory, yes. In practice, they're not going to do that because it makes for bad storytelling.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, so you'll see there are anime that react differently. So this kind of anime, thank you, Sam, for the donation. Krillin, throw them hands. Yeah, Krillin is amazing. Thank you, Sam. The thing with shows like this and shows like Death Note, which I want you to watch as well, is that with Death Note, the stuff you're thinking about now would come into play. So if like someone had the ability where they just like get stronger, they're revived, like that would be completely utilized. They would focus on that. They would get like, insanely powerful until no one can take them out. With like Dragon Ball Z, we gotta just be like, yeah, that's, that makes sense, but they're not going to do it because it would be bad for the story, right? You can't take it too literally, which is something you get with these shows. Because think about it, it's hard when you're coming up with a story every week. You got to make it interesting, but like you don't have the end necessarily planned out and stuff like that. So you kind of go as you go, and then you make the chapters as interesting as possible. But yeah, I agree with you. Like if this was like a literal logical strategy, like Vegeta should have sometime before just had someone killing himself, like trying to kill him, healing, trying to kill him, healing, trying to kill him, healing, and just like done that until he could beat Frieza.
Yeah, no, yeah, it would be an awful story. It's like
exactly.
On the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, Goku got Gregory the Grasshopper to beat him up for the 50th time. Mm-hmm. And he just takes the sensu beans and he's back and he's going at it again.
No, exactly. So, yeah, I know what you mean. There are going to be shows that are anime where you can apply your like that kind of detective rationality to them, and it will work. Death Note is one of them. Like it's like hype. Like he'll think of some stuff you don't even think of, rather than like not thinking of stuff you do think of, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but this is about the fighting, about the interesting story, definitely. What else did you want to talk about in this one? Where'd you want to pick up?
I mean, this was something before, and we briefly alluded to it. But did you want to just get into the importance of like the story Frieza tells about the Saiyans and King Vegeta?
Uh, the Saiyans and King Vegeta. What about them
Yeah,
just being destroyed by Frieza?
yeah, and the fact that we learned that basically Vegeta was told that he has to work for Frieza. He was taken from his father in order to work
Yeah,
for Frieza, and
exactly.
just
So he's like
the
a
brutality there.
child slave almost.
Yeah, and how we learned in the movie prior about Goku's father getting killed by Vegeta, or getting killed by Frieza. Wrong characters.
What movie did you watch, bro?
Yeah, isn't that a twist? It's actually Vegeta. And then Vegeta's father, the same fate happened to him and other Saiyans as well. So yeah, like there's definitely good reason there to take revenge on Vegeta for a number of reasons, which we see why he's crying
You
there at
mean
the
on
end.
Frieza?
On Frieza. Did I say Vegeta again?
Yes. Yeah, you're
Well,
confusing Vegeta and Frieza a bit, but it's all good. I
yeah,
think everyone.
there are also reasons why people would want to have revenge on Vegeta as well.
No,
If I
for
was even
sure.
detailed. Yeah.
But yeah, no, and yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we could talk about like Vegeta here. So Vegeta, after initially showing he's the strongest one left, without counting Goku, he goes to fight Frieza's final form. And pretty soon he realizes he's completely powerless against him, right? And this whole time, like Vegeta is like trying to say like he's this Super Saiyan, he's becoming a Super Saiyan, I'm finally a Super Saiyan, the myth has come true.
Hmm.
And just when he's convinced that that's the case, he's stronger than he's ever been, Frieza shows how complete the power gap between them is, and the dude just breaks down because like you have this guy as a Saiyan. Vegeta has more pride as a Saiyan than like anybody probably has pride in their like nationality, and as a Saiyan he's fighting a guy who now he knows killed his planet, killed his father, and used him, right, used him as a tool. And
Hmm.
all of a sudden you have this situation where he's worked so hard and he can't do anything against him. And yeah, he just in the manga it says he straight up loses the will to fight. He's never, it says in the manga, he's like the narrator says, he's never cried like before until now. And yeah, let me hear the specific quote. We're told for the first time he felt despair and terror struck his soul. For the first time in his life, he shed tears, and then he lost his will to fight. Right? So this is a broken man, right? Like this is not Vegeta. This is not Frieza kicking somebody's ass. This is one of the most prideful characters we've ever met, completely broken, completely helpless. And I think that's why this was so powerful. Like I didn't remember this scene before, but now I think it was the most powerful moment in this entire arc. Like his just emotional breakdown after he realizes he doesn't have what it takes to beat Frieza.
Yeah. And Frieza's really intent on like just beating the shit out of Vegeta too, because I remember there's one moment where Vegeta tries to fly away to flee, and Frieza goes to get him, and then punches him right in the stomach, like wins him, and he's on the ground, and that's I forget how he recovers there, but yeah, that's the first time. And then this moment, the one you're talking about here, when he kind of loses the will, I'm pretty sure he wraps his tail around his head, so he's suffocating him, and
Yeah.
then he has him facing the other way, and he's just continually punching him in the back.
Yeah,
It kind of
that was
reminded me,
brutal too, yeah.
yeah, it reminded me. I mean, very differently, but just that moment. Remember in Dragon Ball where you had Gohan just taking Goku's tail and just hitting him continually, just trying to send that message. This is a very different message, but almost like we know that very different. But we know that Vegeta went against Frieza going to Earth, and Frieza has like a vendetta against Vegeta as well. and he just like rather than just send an energy wave and just blow him up or something, he is suffocating him
Yeah, he wants to make him suffer.
slowly, exactly, and just punching him continually. And you see there's like blood that splats out of his mouth, and just like before with Krillin, he's like licking the blood just in like he's loving it, just watching Vegeta just slowly dying there. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a brutal kind of torture there.
And Zekin points out a good point here where he says, worst part is Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin just stood there and watched. And
Yeah,
and that was, oh my god. That's like, I think that's why Frieza is such a like good villain, because he acts like this. He's beating up Vegeta, making him suffer, and then he turns to the other guys and he's like, guys, you can jump in to save him whenever you want. Whenever you feel like it.
yeah,
Like, oh my god. He, again, the true villains that it feels so good when they're defeated are not just like strong guys. They're guys who go out of their way to like physically and mentally torture people. And so it's all the more rewarding when they get defeated. And Frieza has like a PhD in torturing you, making you feel like shit, breaking your will, right? That's what all of the like transformations are about, in my opinion. Because like, if he wanted to be efficient, he could have already killed everyone here,
yeah.
right? But the cockiness gets is like most of these guys' downfall, because they're like, oh, I might as well enjoy this. I may not have like a fight like this again, so I'm just gonna take my time, enjoy it, and like make them suffer, and it comes back biting them in the ass because either someone gets stronger or someone stronger shows up. So yeah, I think Frieza is an amazing villain, and I don't know, maybe one of my favorites in Dragon Ball Z. Probably my favorite, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the Cell arc, which we'll get into, but I think as a villain, Frieza's probably a better one than Cell.
Yeah, no, tons of cockiness there. Even like cockiness with Vegeta in the sense of if they're waiting for Goku, why egg Frieza on to transform? Like, it's like
Yeah,
I know
like
he thought he could fight him and beat him, but like he's egging him on. Even when Goku shows up, he's like mocking Frieza and saying, "This is gonna be great to see, like a Saiyan kill Frieza." And he's like, if he just shut up there, he wouldn't have gotten killed.
yeah. And what I was actually pretty surprised about is that Vegeta moved beyond his pride, right? So we usually associate Vegeta with someone who doesn't want to get beaten by Goku, right? Like he wanted to beat Goku. He said, "After we beat Frieza, Goku, I'm going to beat you." And yet, he took pleasure in the fact that Goku was stronger than him and could potentially kill Frieza as a Super Saiyan and as part of the Saiyan race. And he wanted a Saiyan to deliver justice to Frieza. So I think that was actually why I loved that moment so much, where like Frieza attacks Vegeta and he's on his deathbed kind of thing, because he actually liked the fact that Goku was stronger than him. And I feel like that shows how much he's grown, how much he's moved beyond just like pride, wanting to be the best, wanting to be better than others. It's become bigger than himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's another thing that was touching. Another thing is that he begged and cried, and Goku never thought he'd see him beg and cry, and he knew it must have been difficult for him to do that. So he respects him for that. And like, it's crazy to think about how we went from this situation where Vegeta and Nappa were the enemies to now Goku feeling bad and inspired for Vegeta and honoring him with a grave, because now he's going to take motivation from him to fight Frieza. That's, I think, one of the best things about Dragon Ball Z, how you could go from completely thinking a character sucks, being an enemy, to becoming like a friend, to becoming a good guy, even if he has a tough exterior like Vegeta does.
Yeah, I just hope, for the sake of Vegeta and for Goku as well, just Goku doesn't take mercy on Frieza, because there's a moment in this where Frieza says, like, my parents were awful or something, and I'm thinking, oh, please, like, don't
Oh yeah,
don't pull up Vegeta here and go,
that
oh, you
was
know what?
interesting.
Go,
Yeah,
go
because
off and be good.
Goku actually hit Frieza this one time. It was after the Kamehameha trick, where he made one Kamehameha go out of the water, because Frieza can't sense things, which is interesting, because even though Frieza's way stronger, right now he has a weakness that he can't sense where people are. He has to see them. So Goku takes advantage of this, launches two Kamehameha to distract him, and then kicks him right, like hard, into a mountain, into a cliff. And Frieza's like, that's the first time someone's got dirt on me since my parents. And it's like, bro, I want to know about Frieza's parents. Like, when both of his parents beat him, like, what the fuck?
Oh, I know.
Like, that makes me so curious to know more about his parents. That little mention right there. Yeah. Like, I want to know who Frieza's mom is, bro. And why is she hitting him? Like, what's going on there?
Oh my god, there's like something else. Is a later arc that comes out with Frieza's parents. I know it probably doesn't exist, but
yeah, you'll have to wait and see. But I'd like that. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
So we have that Goku lands that kick. What did you think about the Goku versus Frieza fight? Obviously, it's drawn out, right? A lot of it is filler, but surprisingly not as much as I thought. There is a bunch of stuff in the manga of them fighting before now moving forward to the next episode of the Dragon Ball Version, the second half of the Frieza saga. We're gonna see like the conclusion, and they're gonna get more serious. This was mostly them kind of like feeling each other up, having that sounded bad.
Oh man, we talked about the horn going
that
through.
Sounded bad, but like you know what I mean, like like getting a sense of how strong the other is, and you had like them fighting, and then Frieza being like, I'm not gonna use my hands, right? He's gonna fight with his legs and tail, and then he wraps his tail around Goku, almost like he did with Vegeta, but Goku bites his tail. Frieza freaks out, and Frieza ends up needing to use his arms. And from the end of this arc that we covered, we have a situation where now Frieza's like, you get no more like bonuses. I'm gonna actually fight you. I'm not gonna give you any advantages. So that's what he says. But what did you think about the pre-fight, so to speak, before the actual fight?
Well, the pre-fight, I mean, I wrote a lot of stuff about the fight itself. Like in terms of, because what happens is they meet each other, and we get that death of Vegeta. And then, I mean, I wrote some stuff down in terms of that moment when Frieza could actually freeze Goku in that yellow energy wave, I think is pretty interesting.
And that was in the manga.
Yeah.
So that is canon. So yeah, that was an interesting thing. I think in the manga, it explains that he used super speed to get out of it before it detonated.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was made clear in the anime, but yeah, that was interesting, like trapping him in an energy blast. I don't think we've seen that before.
Yeah. We also get something else where even Goku says he looks like he's able to control things just through his mind. So unlike other characters who, you know, they have to like lift a finger or do something there, he just kind of is flying in the air, and then we get these boulders like coming out of the ground and flying towards Goku. We have rocks continually flying at Goku, so he's able to just stare at someone or just like not even move a muscle and have nature itself, the environment itself, get destroyed and manipulated.
So you mean like the psychic powers he was using, kind of thing?
Yeah, because Goku says, "Wow, this guy's able to control like all this stuff just through his mind. He doesn't actually have to move anything," which is pretty impressive compared to other people we've seen so far.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that is, I feel like Goku could like easily, you know, I think he could easily deal with that.
Yeah.
And so Frieza eventually decides he needs to fight him like physically, but it is interesting to be able to pose such a threat without even using your body, without just telekinetic abilities, kind of thing.
Yeah. I also noticed something as well in this arc compared to some other ones. I mean, I'm sure it'll change when we get into more of the fight stuff in the next arc, but rather than using like a big, huge energy wave, there are moments where it is being used, but there seems to be a lot of like the main technique is using multiple smaller energy waves on someone. Like that happens a lot of times with Frieza and with like Piccolo and stuff. Like they'll use small energy waves rather than a huge one. I don't know if that's just a way to conserve energy.
Yeah,
but
I don't like. I think it's pretty random. Like you get like big energy waves that people can deflect, and then you get Frieza's like little precise ones that like people can't deflect. I think again, you gotta just like view it as a case by case basis. Because Gohan, for example, when they want to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna put everything I got into this," they make it big because they want to make it a show. They want to make it interesting.
Yeah.
But chances are Frieza's little concentrated thing where he like shoots through Piccolo is stronger than a lot of the huge blasts that we've seen. And I'd like to think that it's more focused, like the Destructo Disc kind of made in a specific way to like maximize damage kind of thing.
I really like the Destructo.
I really like it too because with the
so
Destructo Disc,
underrated.
that's the only one that I don't think we've ever seen deflected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even Frieza's little things, Goku like deflected, caught them, and stuff like that. The destructive disc is like undestructible, bro. It's just like really, it's sharp. You can't touch it. I don't know. Maybe we'll see it eventually, like lose some of its appeal or be blocked or something. But so far, man, like I haven't seen anyone deflect it. I don't know. It's like unstoppable besides dodging it.
And I think, like, for Goku's sake, he's got to learn how to use that because he learned the solar flare, and that's come in handy. I'm thinking, man, he's got to sit down with Krillin one day and just be like, how do you do that? Because I feel like that would be super useful in certain moments to be able to use
the problem is I feel like a lot of the time people have their own signature moves, and they don't want to, like, kind of have another one used. Like, they don't want to have Goku use Gallic Gun, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But... yeah, it kind of did piss me off when in the Saiyan saga we got like, you know, Krillin like show the destructive disc, and then all of a sudden Vegeta uses it out of nowhere to cut Gohan's monkey tail off.
Yeah.
Like I was like, bro, Krillin like worked on that, like, you know. He probably spent so much time mastering it. It's something only he can do. And then Vegeta just copies the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That upset me a bit because I'm like, bro, I want my man Krillin to shine, bro. Like, I love Krillin. I don't want to take away from Krillin. You know what I mean?
He had a great name for it, and Vegeta just uses it nonchalantly without even
doesn't
using
even
the name.
say it. Yeah, like, how you disrespect my man like that, bro?
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Destructo Disc is even in the theme song.
Yeah, I think so.
Dragon Ball Z. Like, it's that epic, and then Vegeta just uses it so nonchalantly.
Learned it too quick. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, okay, if like they eventually learn it, but he learned it too quick. And like, you're not gonna see him learn a Goku thing, like a Kamehameha or a Kaioken kind of thing. So yeah. What? Anyways, is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we move on and start wrapping up this podcast episode?
So there is one thing which I found was funny that happens at the end. We briefly talked about Bulma, but how about Ginyu and Bulma changing bodies there?
Yes. Okay, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I was gonna forget it. That is not in the manga.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unless it happens later, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So that is kind of like a side story. So I have no idea how that's gonna be resolved.
And we talked about that, like, why would you let Ginyu go? Because something like that can happen.
I think in the manga it was realized, like they realized that there's no way a frog is gonna be able to go back and use that power. And I think in the anime for filler, they're like, oh, let's make use of that. And so it comes back to haunt them. And apparently he needs to say change now. Like that's the key in the anime. And because Bulma makes him like this ridiculous like invention, which like it's just ridiculous, a universal translator. So it just makes any fucking thing. It works for any animal. And it just translates it into human speech. And so she makes that. And that's how, by using that Ginyu can actually take her body. So now we have Ginyu in Bulma's body, which is crazy. And then we have Bulma as a frog. So unless that happens later in the manga, which I don't think it will because it's so like crazy, I have no idea how that's going to be resolved. Like I watched this, but how is Bulma as a frog who can't speak going to be able to get her body back? Like I have no idea where they're going to take that.
And I mean, just to put icing on the cake, you should have just squashed her, and then it would have been zero chance of like them being able to change them back.
Yeah. No, I mean
yeah,
that's the thing. And I think because in the manga they knew like there's no way that it's okay that he let him go. But yeah, if there was like this kind of moment that they would have in the anime, like Vegeta, who killed everyone else, was merciless to everyone else, and there's this one super tricky guy, like Vegeta would have killed him. Like he would not have like let him live. You know what
yeah,
I mean? But I am excited to see how Bulma like deals with this situation because man, I have no idea. I can't
yeah.
even imagine. Like maybe she gets the talking thing back. I have no idea. Or he tries to change to someone else's body and Bulma jumps in the way. Like those are all theories,
Yeah.
but I have no idea how. I do. It's interesting making Bulma relevant though. They always try to like in the anime fillers, like throw in her own adventure.
Yeah. It is funny too, on the topic of Genyu, this is early in the arc when there's like a female frog that ends up spawning him and she's like chasing him and
Yeah,
he's just like freaking out and trying
that's
his best to get
hilarious.
out of the way.
He's like, I'm about to be, taken advantage of by a frog.
And she even has like lipstick on. It's hilarious.
Mm. No, that's great. And
So
yeah,
Gen-
so that was. I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I wanted to mention being filler, and I wanted to mention that it is an interesting development. I don't know how they're gonna deal with it. But yeah, get hyped, Ray, because this next section is gonna be like probably the most iconic Dragon Ball Z gets. There's gonna be other moments that are highlights. There's gonna be other moments that are my favorite, like in the Cell Saga. But we are approaching the most iconic moment possibly in the history of anime.
wow.
So get
That's
get get fucking hype for that. Rock the dragon for that.
yeah, that's big hype. And you think about it, I think you mentioned it was around 20-ish episodes or a little under. So all of that would just be the fight itself.
The fight itself plus somehow somehow Bulma getting back to her body. Right? They're
Yeah.
gonna throw that in somewhere. But yeah, it's gonna be heavy impact fighting and it's gonna be very little filler.
Yeah. Oh wow,
And
very little filler.
hopefully we'll have my brother there to talk about it because he remembers seeing this live on TV like the first time before like we used the internet for watching stuff like so this
Yeah.
is like he'll have very strong nostalgia for this moment. So
Yeah.
I can't wait for it. Remember guys, it's going to be episode 90 to 107 or chapters 118 to 135. So that's going to be the situation for the next thing. I'm super excited. Ray, any closing thoughts before I say the usual see ya Space Cowboys?
I don't think so. I mean, you just built up the next episode as one of the most iconic in all of anime,
Yes,
so I
100%.
am really pumped. I didn't know that. I thought it was iconic in Dragon Ball Z. I didn't realize
No, man.
it was
All of fucking
so well
anime,
known.
like rap music, like everything, bro. It just pervades
Wow.
everything. It's gonna be epic. And yeah, like you have these everything leading up, right? In this half of the arc, you have the revenge story building up where like Frieza killed Goku's dad, Frieza killed like all of the Saiyans, the Saiyan planet. And yeah, you just have it all building up, bro. And it's gonna come into the like a beautiful, iconic, epic, legendary climax that is the next episode of the Dragon Ball version.
Awesome. No, I'm excited.
All right. Thanks again, everybody who tuned in live on the Twitch Rant Cafe. And everybody, keep in mind you can watch and download full episodes of the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of the other podcast platforms. Thank you all for everyone who checks out that. Leave us a 5-star review if you can on Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate it. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.
bang.